This YouTube tutorial will go over the first 4 sections of the SMAC, which will cover modules 1 to 4. The first 4 sections really typically review the management problem. That's what it's subheaded. But if you review the SMAC outline, we will be going over the title page, content page, abstract, introduction, statement of the problem, purpose or objectives of study, research questions, and ethics. So 1 through 8, we'll just do a quick review so that as you're doing the assignments for the first 4 modules, you will have some perspective of how it relates to the SMAC. The first is the title page. You should have started thinking of a topic with your team, and before you actually do the investigation, I need to approve your topic. So let's say you have a problem at work with communication, or a problem at work with retention levels, meaning people are leaving your organization, or you have a problem with management. You want to have a clean topic. You want to start your topic with a statement as such to analyze or to assess or to investigate the factors that impact communication at ABC company. So when you send the topic for approval to me, you want it to be as clean as possible so that I can clearly see what you're investigating. You like I said previously in the previous YouTube clip, you want the topic to be something that's stimulating to you, that you really have an interest in. Otherwise, it can be a little challenging for it to be a dragged down topic that you really don't want to investigate. So you have your title. Once I've approved the title, you're going to start developing sections of your SMAC in the work in progress assignments every week. And because it's a team, only one person should be assigned to submit the assignment every week. You might change who that is, but you want to have one person who can send you the assignment every week. The content page is your table of contents. What it is you write a table of contents and you copy and paste all the sections of the SMAC, ... And as you complete the sections at the end, you'll put in the page numbers. It's a table of contents. Just like when you open a book, you have all the sections in the book. That's what the content page is. The abstract we will come to later on, so let's skip that for now. But the abstract is like a summary, which we'll do later. The introduction we'll skip, but we'll focus now on the statement of the problem. So just put the abstract and leave a space. We'll come back to that later on in the class. Introduction, put a space, we'll come to that later on in the class. Some students like to write an introduction. If you're one of those students that feel stuck, you can go ahead, but we will have to readdress it later on. The statement of the problem is the issue you're investigating. So if you, let's say, decided that your topic was an analysis of the factors that impact communication at ABC company, your purpose of the statement should talk about why it is that communication is a problem. What do you see the problem is in terms of communication? And to write a very good problem statement, there are a few things you need to be aware of. You need to have at least 2 secondary sources in the problem statement. And when you're writing in your SMAC for Management 690, you should not include any personal pronouns. So don't say I or me or she or he or they. The reason is you want to start writing like an academic, and the tone of it should be like an academic. So you really do not want to include any personal pronouns. You want to have information that will make your work impactful and that will allow you to clearly state what the problem is. You do not want to talk about what you're going to do about the problem there. You're only going to talk about what the problem is and how you're going to investigate it. I have examples of a problem statements in Canvas, which you should review. The next one is the purpose or objectives of study. Why do you think that this problem needs to be addressed? Okay, overall, how will it impact the industry? How it will impact your company? Why should you investigate it? Research questions. Your research questions should follow the examples given in Canvas, but typically your research questions should focus on all of the variables in your SMAC. Now, once you have a title, one of the things that you need to do is to come up with 4 issues that you think are impacting communication. And we're going to call that variables. The 4 issues could be, for instance, communication. What can impact communication? 1, it could be management. 1, it could be resources. 1, it could be technology. So that's X1 maybe technology, X2 maybe management, X3 maybe resources, X4 maybe attitude. Okay, so let's say you have these 4 things. By identifying these 4 things, what you're actually doing are identifying the variables for your SMAC. In your investigation, you will have dependent and independent variables. The 4 things we just highlighted as X1, X2, X3, X4 are independent variables, and the thing you're investigating, which is communication, is your Y variable. So you need to clearly identify those for me so that I can understand how you're dissecting the investigation. So the object for your questions will be focused on those variables. Like the first question for your research question is, does management impact communication at ABC company? The second one would be, do resources impact communication at ABC company? Does technology impact? So these you will list 1, 2, 3, 4 as research questions. The next section we're going to be looking at is number 8, which is ethics. In ethics, you're going to talk about what are the ethical issues that you have to consider in doing a study. Some of the key things that you have to consider are confidentiality, anonymity, things like the IRB. The IRB is an institutional review board, which I have a whole module that discusses that as you go lower down into section 4 of the module. So for ethical issues, you will be talking about how you're going to be ethical as a researcher, and what are the issues that impact ethics as a researcher, which is listed in chapter 2. Including in that, you have to talk about the IRB, which will be discussed later on in the class. And what the IRB is, it's a form that you fill out, and it's a board at SJC that reviews its topics that students investigate on campus to make sure that they understand the ethical protocols of handling samples, handling people in a study. The last thing we're going to talk about is your theoretical framework and what that is. Once you're doing a research study, you have to think of what theory best suits that study that I'm looking at. So if it's communication, what theory can help me in looking at communication? If an example of a theory is Herzberg theory. Another example of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. The theory will depend on the communication, on the exact study that you're doing. So how do you get a theory? You go to EBSCO in the database online for SJC, or you can do Google Scholar and you put in your Y variable, which is communication, and theory, and see what theories come up. A theory cannot be something that you just popped up in your head. It has to be a known theory that has been tested and measured. And typically for number 10, what you do is discuss the theory, talk about what it is, and explain why that theory is the best fit for your study. And then lastly, relate that theory to all of the variables in your SMAC. So what I've just done is review the first few sections of your SMAC that will be revealed in your work in progress assignments. As I indicated, every week you will have a work in progress assignment on your SMAC, and the modules that are numbered 1 through 4 will indicate and reflect most of what I just discussed in this YouTube clip. So use this as support and try to review it once, twice, 3 times if you need clarification on how to apply the specific concepts in the chapter to the SMAC for the work in progress assignments.